Yoimiya, the owner of Naganohara Firework, the queen of festival, the cutest character in Genshin Impact? Well, that's for you to decide. However, believe it or not guys, a rerun banner took basically an exact year to come back, which was last year's August. But now that she's back, I'm sure that she's beautiful and amazing as ever, which is why today we're going through Yoimiya's best teams options so that you can make use of all of Yoimiya's skill and kit in the best possible ways. So always guys, these teams are a bit ready so you can take and use them however you like. Anyway guys, August is already here, which means our Discord server is open up for the Walk-in giveaway once again. If you want to have the chance to save up more of Primo Gems for the upcoming Sumeru characters, be sure to subscribe to my channel and join the Discord server to enter. We're going to be giving out more Walk-ins than usual this month, so I'm sure your chance of winnings are really high. Link to my Discord server is in the description guys, and with that, let's just hop right in. First and foremost, it's crucial for you to remember some of Yoimiya's most important notes in order to effectively use her. First is that Yoimiya up to date is probably one of the easiest characters to play because unlike other characters where you have to at least stamina manage or have a higher level of mastery over the skills and kit to animation cancel or use the skill correctly, Yoimiya here is just going to stand there, activate her skills and spam her autos. Very player friendly, therefore helping her appeal to many who just want to chill and grind through the game. Not to mention, she is a ranged character which makes things even more easier. Secondly is that Yoimiya is easily one of the strongest single targeted damage dealer in the whole game. In high build situations, she can take out Abyss Floors in a matter of seconds. That is of course with the right team build. But since her arrows can only hit one target at once, she will rely on her performance to take out each of them as fast as possible to get to the next one in grouped enemy situations, therefore also showing her biggest downside, which is having no access to AoE damage. The only way Yoimiya can have AoE damage is through off-field damage support through her team members, who can deal damage in AoE situations. Other than that, it will be on her to take out her enemies as soon as she can. Now Yoimiya's normal attack are her bread and butter. Yoimiya's normal attack makes up of a whole 80% of her damage, with this number rising even higher if you are using Shiminawa Reminiscence set. Her normal attack has a string of 5 attacks, with the first and fourth attack being a multi-hit, therefore having a total of 7 hits over her entire normal attack string. Her fifth attack is already a full 25% of her normal attack string, meaning that hitting it is extremely important, and this is why Yoimiya prefers to be used with teammates who can provide interruption resistance and shielding, as getting interrupted before she can perform her fifth normal attack is a tremendous damage loss, so it is important for you to commit to all of Yoimiya's normal combo rotation and don't dash cancel in between. Now one important discussion surrounding Yoimiya's elemental burst is whether to cast it before or after casting her E skills. Now casting it before Yoimiya using her E skills will allow her burst to be buffed by the buff that Yoimiya's elemental skill receive, and will also allow it to be buffed by Yoimiya's Ascension talent level 1. Casting her burst first also means that Yoimiya can begin recharging it earlier, which can result in more burst cast during the fight. Generally, you should cast her burst before going into her E skills, because it will result in your support character getting or even snapshotting the 10% attack buff from her burst, then the 20% attack buff in the subsequent rotation due to Yoimiya's passive talent. Also, Yoimiya is currently our newest 5-star pyro character. While she may not stand up to DPS character like Ganyu or Hu Tao, her damage certainly isn't bad, and she works well with many popular support and sub DPS units. She can be played in a variety of strong teams, and players who are set on playing her can certainly make Yoimiya and her teams very strong. However, while it is true that teams in which she is played can be pretty strong, for the most part she is a replaceable character and most players don't need Yoimiya. Therefore, she is a character that many will pull out of love and not meta, which is totally fine. You should always always respect the pooling choice of other players, and both pooling for meta and waifu are certainly fine choices. But either way, if you're here, then you certainly would already have Yoimiya on your team, which is where we now hop into Yoimiya's top 5 teams. First team, we have Yoimiya, Xingqiu, Yunjin, and Zhongli. This is for sure would be one of Yoimiya's top tier team, focusing on vaporized damage while having Geo resonance for attack and shield strength increase. We have Yunjin here on the team, who is a character that just made for Yoimiya specifically. The attack buff that she gives is basically equal to that of Bennett, just that she doesn't have healing as he does. However, since Yoimiya focuses on normal attack only, Yunjin is a just perfect fit for her. Not to mention that the higher constellation Yunjin have, the better Yunjin is over Bennett, especially at C6, where Yunjin gives your team an attack speed increase as well. Zhongli is here for a definite shield that basically never breaks to help Yoimiya never get interrupted during her combo, because as you remember, getting Yoimiya to her 5th attack animation is very important. Not only that, Zhongli has access to resistance shred plus 4-piece tenacity to get Yoimiya's damage even higher. Xingqiu is of course someone who works absolutely well with Yoimiya, as he constantly apply hydro for the team while giving a bit of healing to Yoimiya as well if she does get hit. Something to note is that Yoimiya's vaporized team is focused on allowing her to vaporize a portion of her attack. While she cannot vaporize all of her attack due to her internal cooldown, she would typically vaporize her 1st, her 3rd, and her 5th normal attack, and since these 3 hits collectively represents a 54% of Yoimiya's damage, which is already very good. Now you do have to take notice of Yoimiya's rotation in this team to pull out of her best ability. You first start off with Yoimiya's burst, to Zhongli's EQ, to Xingqiu's EQ, to Yunjin's EQ, and then to Yoimiya's E normal attack. And then after that, you just repeat the rotation, and you can skip Yoimiya's burst at the end of the rotation if it is not back up yet. Second team, we have Yoimiya, Fischl, Benny's, and Beidou. Yoimiya's overload team is focused on playing Yoimiya as a driver for Beidou. She will be used to quickly proc Beidou's elemental burst because of how fast she is able to attack. In addition, assuming there is an existing electro aura on the enemy, Yoimiya will always be able to trigger overload reaction, meaning that her EM and level will be used to calculate the damage dealt by the reaction. The main draw of overload team is that they have a significantly better AoE damage. While the knockback caused by overload is typically undesirable, this knockback does have a benefit for Yoimiya, is that if the enemies are further away, they cannot stagger her, allowing her to finish her combo without getting interrupted. However, the knockback still does have issues because Yoimiya can still potentially miss her arrows, causing her also to miss out on Beidou's elemental burst proc, meaning as a whole a pretty decently DPS loss. And also there's Benny here on the team for pyro resonance as well as attack increase and healing for the team. Aside from Yunjin, Bennett will practically always appear on Yoimiya's team. There's also Fischl as well for double electro, meaning your team's burst is going to have a lot more uptime. Not to mention Fischl is currently the best energy recharger in the game while giving Yoimiya a lot of off-field damage support. For the rotation, you start off with Yoimiya's Q, to Benny's EQ, to Fischl's E, to Beidou's EQ, and then to Yoimiya's E to normal attack. That should make sure that everyone in the team have their burst boosted from Benny's burst and have Yoimiya annihilate everything on the field. Third, we have Yoimiya, Benny, Venti, and Xingqiu, a vaporized crowd control team for Yoimiya. Since she can only deal targeted damage, having someone to help her crowd control so that once she defeats an enemy, she can quickly move on to the next is really handy. So if you know you're up against a group of enemies, it is always good to have Venti on the team since he is still the best crowd controller in the game while giving your team resistance shred from 4-piece Viridescent. And then the rest of the team here will perform their role as usual to provide Yoimiya a maximum damage output. For the rotation, you start off with Yoimiya's burst, to Venti's EQ, to Xingqiu's EQ, to Benny's EQ, and then to Yoimiya's E normal attack. That would ensure that Venti infuses his burst with pyro for pyro resistant decrease on the enemies and helping dealing easier vaporized damage. Fourth, we have Yoimiya, Benny, Xiangling, and Kazuha. The goal of a mono pyro team is for Yoimiya to certainly have you see her pyro damage number goes really high. Bennett here in his usual role for providing attack and healing, while there's Xiangling here to not only provide off-field damage and 10% attack buff from her chilies, but also if you do have a C6 Xiangling, Yoimiya is going to be getting more pyro damage bonus. And talking about pyro damage bonus, there's Kazuha here on the team, and you already know how insanely of a support Kazuha is toward the team, where he just gives a lot of damage bonus to Yoimiya, while helping with a bit of crowd control and burst off field damage for her. So generally a very easy team to play, where you don't have to worry much about reaction damage. For the rotation, you start off with Yoimiya's burst, to Kazuha's EQ, to Benny's EQ, to Xiangling's EQ, and then to Yoimiya's E normal attack. It is a great team to run with, however the only situation you'll be struggling with is up against a pyro shield. So if you know you'll be facing a pyro abyss lector or something, do consider that before running this team. Fifth team, we have Yoimiya, Xingqiu, Fischl, and Beidou, or we usually call this an overweight team with a mixture of overload and vaporize. In this team, multiple off-field DPS unit will apply both hydro and electro onto your enemies, allowing Yoimiya to both vaporize and overload her damage that she deals. However, this does force her to run with both electro and hydro off-field DPS, which leaves her with little team flexibility. You can either replace Fischl with Bennett or have her here so that we have electro resonance for more burst uptime for the team, while dealing a lot more off-field damage because Fischl is an amazing off-field damage dealer. Xingqiu here for of course hydro application and healing for the team. You won't have to worry too much about survivability on this team because both Beidou and Xingqiu already provide a lot of damage resistance. And after everything is set up, you are ready for Yoimiya to overvape. For the rotation, you start off with Yoimiya's burst, to Xingqiu's EQ, to Fischl's E, to Beidou's EQ, and then to Yoimiya's E normal attack. Now Yoimiya's definitely a very fun unit to play with. Even though her damage won't be considered as top tier meta, she can however deal very high damage number on the screen, which is already more than enough to clear the game content. At the end of the day, what's most important is you enjoying the game, and what's more fun than seeing your lovely girl on screen dancing with her attack animation, taking out your enemies and ending it with a flashy animation at the same time. If you've already finished building Yoimiya and is now left with nothing else to do, then I can tell you that there are a lot more things for you to do because Sumeru is going to be coming soon. And if you haven't already spent your time preparing these 10 things, then you will have a bit of trouble once Sumeru comes. So be sure to check this video out guys, where I give you a checklist of 10 things for you to prep. I am sure it will be very helpful to you. Again guys, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to not miss out on any of my future videos. And with that, I wish you a super day and I will catch you on the next video.